All right, let's talk about a secret that pretty much every pro data analyst and developer knows, but nobody really tells you when you're starting out. You absolutely do not need to memorize hundreds of SQL commands. The truth is, a tiny handful of them do almost all of the heavy lifting. Let's get right into it.
It really all boils down to the good old 80-20 rule. You know the one, right? Well, it applies to SQL in a massive way. You might learn dozens, maybe even hundreds of different functions and keywords, but when you're on the job, about 80% of what you do every single day is going to rely on just a few key commands.
Yep, you heard me right, just 5. Mastering these 5 commands is the absolute key to being fast, effective, and frankly, valuable in any data role. You get these down cold and I'm telling you, you are 80% of the way there. So where do we start? Well, we start at the absolute foundation. The 2 commands you're going to use to read the data you already have and create the new data you're going to need.
First up is select. Honestly, if you think of SQL as a language, select is basically the verb to get or show me. It's the command you're going to use all day, every single day. It is the absolute bedrock of any data analysis. It's the tool you use to ask your database questions. Now here's the really cool part. Select isn't just one thing. I like to think of it as a kind of data onion. It has layers. You start with the basic retrieval, just grabbing some data. Then you add a where clause to filter down to just the stuff you need. Then you use group by to start summarizing it, to get those key business metrics. And finally, you clean it all up with order by so you can present it clearly. You get these 4 layers down and you can answer almost any question someone throws at you.
But to use it like a pro, you have to follow these golden rules. The biggest one, the one that just screams amateur if you break it, is this. Never ever use select star in production code. Why? Because you're telling the database, hey, go get everything, and it wastes a ton of memory and power. You always want to be specific and just ask for the columns you actually need. Your database will thank you for it.
Okay, so select lets you read data. But how does data get into the database in the first place? Well, for that, we use insert. Every time a new user signs up on a website, or you place an order online, or you post a comment, you can bet there's an insert statement humming away in the background, adding that new piece of information to a table. Now, you could insert things one by one, but professionals almost never do that. Think about it. If you need to load thousands of new products into your catalog, doing it row by row would be painfully slow. That's why we use a bulk insert. You write one single efficient statement to add all the rows at once. It is way, way faster, and it's a standard for any real-world app.
Okay, take a deep breath. We've talked about reading and creating data. Now, we are entering the danger zone. I'm not being dramatic. You need to pay super close attention here because the next 2 commands are where a simple typo can cause a total catastrophe.
And this is no exaggeration. The update command, which, modifies existing data, is incredibly powerful. But that power comes with huge risk. One little moment of carelessness can corrupt millions of records. And yes, I have literally seen it end a person's career. So what is it? What is the single most dangerous mistake you can possibly make when you're writing SQL? What's that one little thing that can turn a simple task into a complete resume-generating disaster? It's this, forgetting the where clause. It sounds so simple, right? But if you write an update statement and you forget to tell it which rows to change, it doesn't just update one row. No, it updates every single row in the entire table. Your whole data set, gone, just like that. This is why you must follow this safety protocol every single time. No exceptions. First, before you even think about running an update, you write a select statement using the exact same where clause. This shows you precisely what you're about to change. Then, you wrap your update in something called a transaction. Think of it like a safety net. It lets you check your work before you make it permanent.
And if you thought update was like playing with matches, let me introduce you to delete. This is like juggling dynamite. It is, hands down, the most dangerous command in all of SQL, because there is no undo button. When that data is gone, it is gone forever.
Because it's so risky, most modern applications don't actually use hard deletes anymore. They do something way smarter, called a soft delete. Instead of wiping the row off the face of the earth, they just run an update to flip a little switch on it, something like is deleted becomes true. The data's still there, it's recoverable, it's just hidden from view. It's a lifesaver.
Phew. Okay, we made it through the danger zone. So now that we know how to read data, create new data, and very carefully modify and remove it,
let's talk about the command that brings it all together to create some real insights.
This right here is where the real magic of SQL happens. It's the join. See, in a well-designed database, your data isn't all crammed into one giant spreadsheet. It's neatly split across multiple tables, customers here, orders over there. Join is the bridge that connects these different islands of data so you can ask much more interesting questions.
Now, there are a few types, but you're going to live and breathe with two of them most of the time. An inner join is kind of like a strict bouncer at a club. You only get the results that have a match in both tables. It's great for finding customers who have placed an order. A left join, on the other hand, is more relaxed. It gives you everything from that first or left table and then brings in matches from the second one if they exist. That's perfect for finding all of your customers and then seeing which ones have placed an order.
And this just shows you exactly what I'm talking about. We have John's name in one table and his $50 order in another. They're separate. A join on that customer ID column connects them, and bam, suddenly we can see that John spent $50. We've just turned two separate facts into one piece of business intelligence. That's the power of a join.
So here's the bottom line. SQL can feel like this massive, intimidating topic with a million things to learn. But the truth is, these 5 commands are the bedrock. They are the foundation of everything you will ever do with data.
So let's run through that core toolkit one last time. You've got select to read and analyze, insert to create new stuff, update to modify things, but always with caution, delete to get rid of things with extreme caution, and finally join to connect all the dots. This is the toolkit. This will solve 80% of your problems.
By truly mastering these 5 commands, and I don't mean just memorizing them, but really understanding their power, their risks, and how to use them properly, you have the fundamental skills for any data career. You have the foundation. So the only question left is, what insights are you going to build with it?